Hello, everybody. Welcome to Erndale's. I'm not crying. I just had like 3 sneezes in a row. Don't know what's going on with that. I'm so happy to see you all. It's been a few weeks. There's been some things going on here with me, and I just wasn't able to do any podcasting or videoing. And as you notice, I have a little bit of a new look. I went and got some curls. I had my 67th birthday in October, and I was tired of this gray mat around my face. And I used to always wear curls. I used to always have a perm. Years and years ago, I that's all I would wear because my hair grows really fast. And I was forever cutting it. If it wasn't permed, I just had to cut it. Like I almost could cut my hair every 3 weeks. So when I turned 67, I thought, I want to get rid of that gray business and I'm going to go and get a perm just because I want to grow it out a little bit and I can't stand the straight hair. It just drives me insane. So I got a perm and then I dyed it blonde. You see any blonde there? Seriously, this is blonde. Ugh, I give up dyeing my hair because it's never what it's supposed to be. Anyway. It's not tight curl, even though it looks pretty tight on here. It's a lot looser than I used to get it. And I think once it's fairly new, so it's gonna drop down a little bit more. But it's nice not having to have flat hair all over the place. So I've been really, really busy. I've had a little bit of problems with my leg. If you remember when I had my surgery in August, I think I mentioned on here that I had developed a nerve palsy when they touched on a nerve in my, well, actually it was sort of in my groin, but it affects my leg from the hip to my knee. And at the time when I had my post-op, they said it was considered a nerve palsy, and they said it would take months and months and months to heal, if ever. That they had to add that if ever just to make me feel really great, you know. But at first I was having a lot of problems walking or getting in and out of bed or up and down from a chair. I just had no control over my leg at all. It would not move. And when I walked, I could be walking and then all of a sudden I would sort of stumble because the leg was just not doing what it was supposed to do. Well, that has much improved, and I actually am going up and down the stairs here because this studio is on a second floor. I'm going up and down the stairs really well, not having any problems, but I actually think that now the nerve is starting to wake up because it's burning sore. Like if I do a little bit too much, I cannot stand it. It is so painful. So I'm going to go to the doctor and see if that's what's occurring. And I think that is either that or I'm just maybe doing too much, but that is what it is. You can't sit in a chair all the time. So while I've been suffering this irritating leg, I've been doing a ton of knitting. And I didn't make that, and I didn't make that. That I'm going to save for later, but I will show you all of the finished things that I have done. So if you have been following me on my knitting socks tutorials from cuff to toe, we still have the toe to do, and I have not forgotten about that, but I don't have a sock on the needles right now that's anywhere near toe, so I can't film anything, but I will soon. So I had used this one quite a bit in that video, and now it has its mate. So I have finished these two, and these are heading up to the Yukon very shortly, probably tomorrow. I'm going to be mailing these off. So yeah, these are done. These are made out of Croy yarn and a 2.75 double pointed needle, and they're a really nice heavy sock, a great winter boot sock. So that's one finish. And then you would have also seen these socks before, and I only had one of those done. Well, now I have two. And this is, this wasn't Croy, this was a Mary Maxim yarn. I think it was called Elements. They don't make it anymore, or they don't sell it, but I really like it. It's a DK weight, so you have to use a pattern with less stitches. This one here had 64 stitches. This one is 44 stitches and a much larger needle. So these are the Smorgasbord socks by, it's gone. I'll put it in the description below. And I love this pattern. I totally love this pattern. So these also are going in the mail tomorrow. I love the color of these. And this is a lovely pattern. Can I say that? It's got some nice patterning in it. And then there's got a little bit of a pattern here and a little bit of a patterning there. Yeah, so that's the 2 pairs of socks that I completed. And then I still have this one to make a mate for. I haven't even cast on the mate for this one, but I'm going to be doing that now that I've got those ones finished. And I have 1 pair on the needles, and that is another one of those Smorgasbord socks. Here you can see the patterning a little bit better. It's just knit and purl stuff. It's nothing hard, but it is it's a nice sock. So I've just started this one, and I still have 3 more pair to make for Christmas makes, and then I'm not going to make socks for a while. And I also have a glove. I just have the one. I'm going to start the other one. It fits beautifully, minus all the strings. It's a lovely glove. It's made out of the same yarn as this one sock that I'm working on. And it is actually Simple Sock, another Mary Maxim yarn, Simple Sock watercolors. They, I think, are getting rid of this one as well. It too is, I wouldn't say it's DK, but it's not fingering either. It's closer to DK than fingering. So you use a little bit bigger needles, but it makes a really nice glove. I'm quite happy with that glove. And the pattern for this one I got from a really old book. That's this glove right here. It's an old patterns book. I wish they would put the date on these old books. This was a book of my mom's, and it just has gloves and mittens and things like that. So I just tried this one because, yeah, here it is here. There's a mitten in that pattern as well. Yeah, so I'm going to finish another glove and another sock and start some more socks. Just 3 more to go, and then I'm finished my sock knitting for Christmas. And then I also, where is it? Here is, if you remember, I had purchased this pattern here. It's a baby sweater. It's for size 6, 12, and 18 months. And I started the sweater, and I just didn't like it. I don't know what was wrong with the pattern, and should be very simple, but it wasn't turning out to be simple. So I changed up the pattern, and I knit a little pullover instead. So I've got that one done. And this is the Telemark sweater, I think it's called. And I'll put it's a free pattern on Ravelry. I'll put the link for this one. This is a 12-month size. Look at how cute and small it is. Isn't it adorable? So this is ready to go in the mail, and I made the little hat to go with it as well. So it's going to be a nice little, this is the hat from this pattern. Just a nice little hat. This hat is from, it's a one size fits several hat. It can go from newborn to 1 year old. So yeah, that's the little that's the little set that I made for Fritz, my new little grandnephew. And I think this will be nice for him next October when he turns 1. This is a nice little sweater for fall. It's not super heavy, but it'll be nice to be, you could wear this without a jacket, really. So that's pretty much all the knitting that I've been doing. But I have long, we will get to this now. I can knit just about anything that I've tried, actually, but I can't knit cables. I have tried a million times to do cables, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work for me. And this blanket, I'll just move away here for a minute. So my mom made this for me. I'm trying to figure out how old. I probably was 18 years old when she made this for me. And I have loved this Afghan all my life. And I have looked after it with so much love and care. And I would like to make one. But I can't find the pattern for it. My mom was a fantastic knitter. She was a seamstress by trade, but she loved to knit. She always had some knitting on the go, always. And she loved to do this kind of thing and these kind of sweaters. This is a sweater she made for me when I was 16. Look at it. She did so much of this fisherman knit type sweaters. Here's the back. I have never done anything like this, but I really want to. So what I've been doing is I've been going through her books, trying to find a pattern like this. Actually, I was trying to find this pattern. So, because I want to learn cable, and I want to start doing things with cables in them. And I thought, you know, if I find a simpler pattern with a cable, I could try it. So I've been going through her stuff. Just give me 1 second. This is half of my mom's patterns. And I've been spending a lot of time in the last little while going through this particular pile. I have another pile almost identical to this. And I did find some of her fisherman knit patterns. Here's a whole book of Irish knits. And I really thought for sure that this one sweater would be in here, but it's not. And these are actually the only 2 Irish knit books that she has. So then I started going through some of these other books, like these older books. You know, that sort of has an Irish look to it. And book after book after book after book I've gone through, and I have not found that pattern or this pattern. So there are some similarities to some of these patterns in here. You know, some of the stitches look sort of familiar to that sweater there, but I think what she's done is she has taken a pattern and added parts that she liked and took out parts that she didn't like. I really think that's what she did. And that really messes me up for trying to duplicate anything, because I would never do that. I'm not that great of a knitter that I can confidently do something like that. So I thought I have to find something that I can learn to do cables with. And excuse me, there we go. And so I remembered that I have this, I bought a kit. Well, actually it wasn't a kit. It was every month you got it was a subscription to an Afghan, and every month you got some yarn and some patterns, and then you would every month you get different ones, and at the end of the year you would have a quilt. Here, I'll show you. It was Annie's Attic, I think, that I got this from. So at the end of the year you would have a sampler Afghan like this. So if you can see, here is a cable. So I found the little pattern and the yarn that was supposed to be for the cable, and I have been doing that particular square, and lo and behold, I think I'm getting it. I don't know, it doesn't look as refined as the picture, but I think I'm sort of on the right track, I hope. Maybe I have to tighten my stitches up. But I'm having a little difficulty because this was my mom's cable needle, and I like that it has this nice long neck part for when you do the twist and you start to knit it off the cable thing. But then this part gets hooked in there too. So then I switched, I did a few with this. And this is really nice because when you hang it at the front or the back, it really hangs down and it doesn't get in the way until you go to twist it and knit off of it. And then this part sticks to your work. So then I got one of these, and I actually don't like these at all. So I think I'm just going to go back to this and persevere and just keep working at it until I get it. But it seems like I sort of have the hang. And I think this is a fairly easy cable pattern because it's only going one way, the cable. So I'm just going to keep finding things like this to knit and keep practicing, because I would really love to make a sweater that has some cables and some popcorn and different things like that. I would really love that. And I would really love to make an Afghan like that. So this is what I'm practicing in my spare time when I have some quiet time. I don't have anything pressing to do. I'm just sitting and working and teaching myself how to do this. And that's sort of been the story of my knitting, because my mom taught me how to knit when I think I was about 7. And that was back in the 60s. And my mom was of German descent, and she knit different than all my friends' moms. They all knit the English way, is what I know. And I actually didn't know there was a name for my type of knitting until about 20 years ago, when I found out that actually I knit continental, and I did not know that. My mom always said it was the old country way. That was what she called it. I guess maybe that's what her mother called it. I don't know. So when she taught me to knit, she taught me knit and purl and how to cast on and cast off. And I did not like knitting at all. I found it too slow and pokey. I was too impatient to finish anything. And so I learned the stitches, knit, purl, cast on, cast off, and then I quit knitting. I didn't want to knit at all. But I took up crocheting, and I crocheted for years. I love to crochet, and I still do. But there's limitations to what you can do with crochet as far as garments. I don't care as much for a crocheted garment as I do a knitted garment. So about 20 years ago, I decided, I know knit and purl, I know how to cast on. I'm going to pick up some needles and start. So I started knitting again. And now I wish that I had my mom here so that I could ask her how do I do this? How to show me, because I don't have that. I have YouTube, which is great. I'm not saying that, any new knitter has a lot more resources now than they would have had in the 1960s, but it still would be really nice for her to be able to show me how to do things and what I'm doing wrong. So I'm having to learn this stuff on my own now, which it's too bad because she always wanted me to pick up the needles and teach me more and more, and I was not interested. I just was not interested. So there, such silliness when you're young. You don't think of these things until you're older, and then you think, oh, why did I do that? So I am going to try and find this pattern somewhere. I don't know how I'm going to find it. I have a feeling it came out of a magazine at some point, and she knit that in the 70s for me, or maybe even before that. No, it was in the 70s. So I would really love to find a pattern like that with the fan, and there's some cabling on there and some other little pretty stitches. So I decided to get this out again, and I've actually done quite a few stitches. And the reason that I actually signed up for this, I made it a Christmas present to myself, but what I liked about it was that every square has different stitches, and so I bought this so that I could learn new stitches, and it has been really good, and I've got quite a few done. I think I'm on over halfway, so I thought I would show you some of these blocks that I have, just so that you can see what this pattern or this Afghan is going to be like. So it's in 3 colors. There's one. Just make sure I have the right. Oh. This one was fun to learn, and I would never have learned that if I hadn't been working on this project. Of course, these all have to be blocked and then put together. This is just a knit and purl rib kind of thing. Some of these I have to think about what is the front and when is the back. Oopsie, I'm dropping it here. So there's no, I guess there's 4 colors. Here's another one. And this is the 4th color. This one has a star in it. So I think when this is finished and put together, this is going to be a really pretty Afghan. And by the time I'm finished with it, I will have learned some new things, which is really good. Oh, I think that's the front. Yeah, it is. This one is just a miter. Here's another neat one. Which is the front and which is the back. That's another nice one. And this one, I think the patterning on some of these will show up much nicer once they're blocked. That'll be a job in itself. That's the front. So there's quite a few really nice stitches. This is just a plain knit one, and this is just another. This is just garter stitch, and then this one. So I've got quite a few to go. I think this is block 16 to 18. You got 3 blocks a month is what you got. We get 2 balls of wool and a pattern for 3 blocks. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 30 blocks in all in the complete. So I'm going to keep this out and I'm going to keep working on it because I don't know, I stopped, I guess I was doing other things. So I'm going to continue work on this until I get it done because I think it'd be really nice to have on my brand new couch. We got a new couch last week and it sort of is in these colors. Like it's much like this. So the colors are this color, this color, this color, and this color. Those are the 4 colors. Sorry, not 3. Nice earth tones. So I'm going to keep this project going when in the middle of, these are good projects. They're small, they don't take a whole lot of time, and hopefully I can whip through the next 12 or so, 15 or so, and get them all done and get my Afghan together, and then I'll show it to you when it's done. I'd like to get this done before Christmas, actually. I think I should just keep on going. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. I have some really great, I've come across some really great old books over here. These books of my mom's. A lot of these go back to World War II, but there's every imaginable book. A lot of them are baby books, like, you know, Beehive Baby, this kind of thing. And I'm going to give these all to my great niece. She's she's a young woman, just had a baby, and she is learning to knit, and I think she might be able to use some of these. So I'm going to be going through all of these, and I'm going to be finding the ones, if there's any that I want to keep, and otherwise I'm going to move them on. This one is hilarious. I'm going to show you some of is this the one that has the really weird hats in it? Some of these hats are very funny. I don't think this is the one with this really strange hats. I remember having a hat like this one here when I was a kid. That was all the rage. Little girls wore those to church on Sunday. Oh yeah, here, look at this one. Look at the one on the top. That's pretty. Look at this one. Oh, I love looking at these old books. They got some really funny things in them. And also some good stuff too. Here's some more. Typical 60s. And I think I remember my mom wearing a hat, something like that. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in here. And there's a lot of these kind of little books in here. The thing with these are, if I were to use any of these patterns, I'd have to swatch everything, because the yarn that they recommend in here, I have no idea. It doesn't say what weight it is. None of it says, oh, I guess some of it does, but pretty much it just gives the name of the yarn. It doesn't say what the weight is. So I would have to swatch everything. This is a great book, this Service Woolies. I've used this book quite a bit, and there's the sock patterns in here. The men's sock patterns are fantastic. This is where I've actually gotten learn how to get the right fit for a man's sock. Here's some helmets. And this one actually has patterns for amputee covers, hospital jackets. This is for the war. You know, when people were in the hospital, hospital stockings, body belt, head bandage cover for amputee covers, or amputation covers, I mean. So yeah, I like this book. This one I'm going to keep because the socks in here are fantastic. And there's some really good men's, in particular, there's really good men's stuff in here. Socks, mittens, gloves. I think I used this sock pattern here, this one. It was very nice. And it was very similar to the one that I'm doing my sock tutorial with, except it has 4 more stitches. It's not 64, it's 68. So yeah, there's a lot. Here's another hat one. And it's really interesting when you look at these to see how much fashion has changed. And then in another sense, fashion returns. I was on the internet the other day on a site that I belong to, and a woman was making a dickie for her husband, like that. So this book is from the 60s, and it's 2022, and she's making a dickie. These scarves here, for men, I made my husband a scarf like that one time, and he said it was the warmest scarf he ever had, because it's crunched around the neck. You go, this part that goes across your chest is flat, but the part that goes around your neck, you use a rib, so it comes in really nice and tight, and it's nice and warm. So some of these old patterns have a lot to offer. They really do. Look at these. This one. If you're my age, you'll remember seeing kids with those, for sure. Oh, look at here. Here's one with a cable. Ta-da! That's exactly what I would like to work on. Okay. That's for a man. I'm pulling this one aside. Maybe I'll make a cable hat. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. And then there's the odd, more modern book in here. This book has some things, but a lot of these they're not my size. I don't know. They're nice though. I like that. So yeah, I got a lot of things to go through here, and I'm going to move along. What I can't use or what I won't use, I'm going to, oh yeah, and she used to do these all the time too. And I still have some yarn. She made every one of us. She had 5 children. She made all 5 children and all her grandchildren, and anybody who would wear one, she would make one. So this is something this is a project in its own for, I can't say rainy day because we won't be having any of those for a while. We had our first snow yesterday, and it's going to stay. It's not going to go anywhere now. So coming up in the next few weeks, I'm going to finish the tutorial. I'm going to add the toe into the tutorial on how to knit socks. And then I'm going to start doing a few Christmassy things. It's that time of year when we all are starting to think about Christmas makes and things like that. And one of the first things I'm going to do with you is we are going to make this little angel. Now, all you need for this to make this little angel is a head and a hands, and the heads and the hands come together. I got a whole bunch of these little heads at the dollar store one year. They had these little angels and they were really ugly, and they were $1, so I bought a whole bunch and I ripped them all apart, and I still have a few more of these left. They're porcelain, but I'm sure you can get these at places like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something like that. So that's all you're going to need is just a set of hands and a head. And this is just old blue jeans and some scraps of braid or ribbon and a piece of cardboard, and that's all you're going to need for this. So I'm going to be doing this little tutorial for you in about 2 weeks. And if you go on my site right now, I have brought forward a video from a few years ago on a snowman that I made, and it is a child-sized snowman. And I will actually redo that video, and I'll show you that snowman. I'll take his clothes off because I want to change his clothes anyway, and I'll show you how I made that. So that's 2 Christmas projects coming up. I'm not going to do a Christmas video every day kind of thing, but I will be bringing in some Christmas makes, things that you could make, and or if you're just interested in seeing what I've made, that's fine too. So, we might do some eggs. I might do a couple of little egg decorations for you. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I just want to get all this knitting stuff out of my way, and I have a couple of cross-stitch ornaments that I have to finish, and then I'm going to really get into the Christmas things. So if you want to make one of these, you find yourself a head and 2 hands, and we will be making these together. I will do a complete tutorial on how to do it, and it's so simple. Oh, and you need a glue gun. That's the other thing. You'll need a glue gun for this. But it takes maybe a half an hour to do. That's all. It might take me longer to video it than it actually does to actually make it, but it's about a half an hour. So I'm going to leave it here, and I wish you well. Take care, everyone, and I will see you again really soon. Bye for now.